Hello students, this is Rashmi Singh ma'am here once again, and today I am going to teach you the last lesson of your book Flamingo, which is the first lesson actually and written by Alfonso Dort. But before I start this lesson, I would like to address you that an English chapter or a lesson should be taught in English only. But for your convenience, since Hindi is our mother tongue, so one or two lines I may be explaining to you in Hindi, but for your convenience, because I always prefer that you should be explain things in English, so your understanding and your comprehension is good. And because you will have to present your answer, don't forget that you will be writing and presenting your answers in English only in CBSE board exam. And the more you try and understand in English, you will develop your spoken English also, and you enhance your personality also, which will be good for you to face interviews, etc. So let us start the lesson. But before I start the lesson, one thing more I would like to tell you, that if you have any problem or query, you can mail me at rashmi.singh02110211@gmail.com. So let me give the summary of this chapter, the last lesson. The last lesson, this story has been set against the backdrop of the war period when Alsace and Lorraine, which was French territories, were taken over by Prussia. And the last lesson, because French would not be taught from the very next day. Orders from Berlin had come, Berlin, Germany, that no more French would be taught in the territory in Alsace and Lorraine, because it was being taken by the Prussian army. It would be taken by the Prussian army. Prussia would be occupying it because they had won over Alsace and Lorraine, and French no more would be taught there. And there is the protagonist of the story is Franz, a little boy who had always avoided his studies. He did not like to study French at all. So let us begin the story, how it goes and how Franz realizes that one's own language is the best language of this world, and we should always stick to our identity. Our identity is our language. We should be known by our language, and he realizes his teacher, Mr. M. Hamel, makes him realize that French is the most beautiful language on this earth, and it is the most logical, beautiful, simple. And throughout his life, Franz was a little boy, but throughout his life he was avoiding learning French language. He was avoiding school, he was avoiding classes like small children always do. So let us start the lesson. I started for school very late that morning and was in great dread of scolding. Why? Let us see. Scolding when you are going to be shouted at. Especially because M. Hamel, the teacher, French teacher, had said that he would question us on participles. So who is this boy who is thinking? He is Franz, and he knew that there was a test of participles, and he was going very slowly towards the school. And I did not know the first word about them. He did not know anything. He was unawares. For a moment, I thought of running away and spending the day out of doors. So he thought that let us bunk the school and go and just spend the outdoors, and who will come to know. I was so warm. It was so warm, so bright. The birds were chirping at the edge of the woods, and in the open field back of the sawmill, the Prussian soldiers were drilling. So he said the entire environment is so beautiful. The birds chirping, the climate, the weather is so nice. And see the Prussian army. They are drilling, they were doing some march past, and he was not knowing this, that these Prussians are only will be taking over their territory. He was unaware about that. It was all much more tempting, and all this noise and music of march past, it was so tempting to bunk the school. He just didn't want to go to school because M. Hamel, he thought, was a cranky teacher. Cranky means half mad. Pupils means student always think that their teachers are cranky. Oh yeah, he's just mad, just leave him, all like. But some of you love also teachers, but generally, so he thought that M. Hamel is cranky, and now he will bother him, and he'll be asking rules of participle, and he doesn't know a single word of it. But I had the strength to resist and hurried off to school. So somehow he resisted and he rushed off to school. When I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. Bulletin board, notice board. Town hall, the marketplace of Alsace and Lorraine. When he was crossing by, he saw a great mob there, and they were all thronging. Thronging means coming around the bulletin board, and something amiss had happened. Something very serious thing had happened, because all the people, all the public were crowded there. And he just thought, what happened? For the last 2 years, all our sad news, bad news had come from there. The lost battles, the draft, the orders of the commanding officers. So children, please underline. You must be having your book. So please underline what he says, because last 2 years, all the bad news of battle, of commanding officers, of the lost battles and draft and everything came from the bulletin board. So now he thought, next, what is happening here? What next? And I thought to myself without stopping, what can be the matter now? Then as I hurried by as fast as I could go, the blacksmith washer who was there with his apprentice reading the bulletin. So as he was running after school, he was in great fear that M. Hamel would scold him. Washer was there with his apprentice. And who was washer? Blacksmith. Blacksmith who works on ironsmith, blacksmith. So washer was there with his apprentice helper, reading the bulletin. Called after me, don't go so fast, bub. You'll get to your school in plenty of time. And this had some hidden meaning. He said, listen, bub, you're just lad, boy, small boy, you'll get plenty of time to reach to your school. Because they knew, they had read the bulletin board, they had read the notice, what is going to happen, and they said, you will have enough time. Just don't rush. Now you can go to school. You will be having great time. And I thought he was making fun of me, and he thought that since he is always late to school and bunking the school, that is why washer is making fun of him. And reached M. Hamel's little garden all out of breath. He just rushed, and he was panting. He rushed and he reached out because he thought that he should not get scolding that day. Usually when the school began, there was a great bustle, too much of rush, people, making noise, which could be heard out in the street, and the hustle and bustle in the street could be heard. But that day there was no hustle and bustle, no rush. Everything was like pin drop silence. And he actually had counted upon the commotion. Franz had thought that as I will go, people would be opening their, desks and closing, and M. Hamel would be rapping his ruler on the table, and there would be so much of noise, and then he would just go and sit at the back and hide, and then M. Hamel would not ask him the rules of the participles, and somehow he would evade it, he would avoid it. But on the contrary, the scene was totally different. Everything, everywhere, it was, the place was very quiet, and people looked very solemn, 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 serious, and people had taken their seats in the classroom. And such people which he had not imagined that they would come and take their seats. So let's see what had happened. Usually, when school began, there was a great bustle which could be heard out in the street. The opening and the closing of the desk, as I told you, lessons repeated in unison, and children would be repeating the lessons that here comes the master, here comes the master has gone. Everybody in sync, in unison would be repeating, and similarly, but nothing of that sort was happening. And he then thought, why nothing of that sort is happening? If you have any problem, as I told you, that you can write to me, mail me on rashmi.singh 0211 0211 @gmail.com. So now he wondered what could be the matter, why there was no commotion and everybody was quiet, and then he got to know something which was very astounding for him. Let us see what had happened. He saw that M. Hamel was wearing his best clothes, and he could not comprehend why M. Hamel was wearing his Sunday church clothes and everything, but now it was also still. I had counted on the commotion to get to my desk without being seen. But of course, that day everything had to be quiet as Sunday morning. Through the window, I saw my classmates already in their places. So through the windows, he peeped and he saw his classmates already in the place. And M. Hamel walking up and down with his terrible iron ruler under his arm. So he was not using his terrible iron ruler. It was under his arm. He was not wrapping it on the table. All up and down under his arm. I had to open the door and go in before everybody. You can imagine how I blushed and how frightened I was. So there was pin drop silence. So he had to open the door and then he had to enter in front of everybody, and he felt really bad about this, and he thought something like how to hide himself. But nothing happened. Nobody scolded him. M. Hamel saw me and said very kindly, "Go to your place quickly, little Franz. We were beginning without you." And M. Hamel was very kind, and he did not know why M. Hamel is so kind, why he is so nice to him. I jumped over the bench and sat down at my desk. Not till then, when I had got a little over my fright, did I see that our teacher had on his beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt, and the little black silk cap. Please underline, because these things are asked in the board. What kind of dress was M. Hamel wearing? He was wearing his church clothes, and all these things are written here. Please underline, you will have to learn this. All embroidery, and he never wore except on inspection and prize days. So he wore these dress either when he was going to church or on inspection, some visitor was coming, then, or on prize days when children were getting awarded for their good academics. Besides, the whole school seemed so strange. Why and solemn? Because there was pin drop silence. Let us see what other reason why the school was seeming so solemn, so serious. But the thing that surprised me, please underline this, students. What thing surprised him? The thing that surprised him was to see on the back benches that were empty, that were usually always empty, the village people sitting quietly like ourselves. So he was like, in his classroom, why village people were sitting? He was amazed why village people were sitting there. Old Hauser with his three-cornered hat. So who all were sitting? The old Hauser with his three-cornered hat. He was sitting there. The former mayor, please underline, go on underlining, you'll have to learn this. The former postmaster and several others besides everybody looked sad and Hauser had brought an old primer. Just like in English language you have the alphabets book, so he had brought the French primer, like your ABCD, so he had brought that. So all the retired people of village, and they were sitting there, the postmaster, old Hauser, with his three-cornered hat, thumbed at the edges, and he held it open on his knees with his great spectacles lying across the pages. So old Hauser was also wanting to learn French language, and he had brought his primer, the initial, the starting book of the French language, and it was on his open on his knees, and his big spectacles were there. So till now, any problem, children? I hope so. Not. So all of you must have understood that something amiss has gone. Usually the school, when it began, it was like very quiet and very nice, but that day it was different, and everybody, so many people were like there, and they were trying to learn the French language. While I was wondering about it all, and Franz was wondering what exactly has happened. What has happened? Why all of them are here and trying to learn the French language? M. Hamel mounted his chair. He went and sat on the chair in the, in the same grave and gentle tone which he had used to me, said. In the same grave means serious tone in which he had talked to him, he said, "My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. The order has come for Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. The new master comes tomorrow. This is your last French lesson. I want you to be very attentive." So he says that the order from Berlin has come that this would be your last lesson. It has of French. You would be taught German from tomorrow. So from tomorrow you would be taught German. There would be no French classes anymore. So now Franz understood why all these people, all the old people of the village had come there. They had come there to give tribute to their own beautiful language. What a thunderclap these words were to me. What a thunderclap these words were to me. Please underline. What was the thunderclap? This question will come. Please write it down also, students. So thunderclap that no more French would be taught, because the order from the Berlin had come that from the next day only German would be taught, because in the Franco-Prussian War, Prussia had defeated Alsace, France, and had defeated Alsace and Lorraine, which was a part of France, and had taken over. Oh, the wretches! Now, who all are wretches? The Prussian army and the German people. That was what they had put up at the town hall. So this was what had been put at the town hall, at the bulletin board. That is why there was so much gathering there. People had gathered there. They were reading that from tomorrow no more French lessons. So that is why all had come to pay tribute to their language, and all had gathered. All were attending Mr. M. Hamel's class. That was the last lesson of French in the territory of Alsace and Lorraine. My last French lesson. Why? I hardly knew how to write. I should never learn anymore. So he hardly knew how to write. And now he's saying that he would not learn anymore. What would be now to write French? How would he be writing French language? So he was disturbed. Why, I hardly knew how to write. I should never learn any more. I must stop there. Then, oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lessons, for seeking birds' eggs, or going sliding on the sar on which you slide down. So he was just bunking his classes and he was sliding on the sar, and he was going and searching the birds' eggs and not doing all the useless things like children do, and he was bunking his classes. Always we put our things always for tomorrow, and when this tomorrow came, Alsace and Lorraine were taken over by Prussia. My books that had seemed such a nuisance a while ago, so heavy to carry, my grammar and my history of the saints, were old friends now. So the book, the bag, which all seemed so heavy to him, were like his old friends now. He wanted to befriend, he did not want to leave his books now that once were so heavy for him. He did not want to study, and now he wanted to study. Let's see, my grammar and my history of the saints were old friends now that I couldn't give up. And M. Hamel too, the idea that he was going away, that I should never see him again, made me forget all about his ruler and how cranky he was. Ruler, he might be beating him, and how cranky he was, how mad he was. कहते हैं ना, पागल है वो टीचर, छोड़ दे यार उसके बारे में, वो तो पागल ही करके छोड़ देती है, बेकार, वो चिल्लाएगी, वो चिल्लाएगा. So now actually he was falling in love with his teacher, French teacher, all over once again, and he was like feeling so sad. Poor man. It was in honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday clothes, and now I understood why the old men of the village were sitting there in the back of the room. So now he understood why the old men of the village were sitting in the back of the room. It was because they were sorry too that they had not gone to school more. It was their way of thanking our master for his 40 years of faithful service, of showing their respect for the country that was theirs no more. So this way they had come to show their respect to the master, to the French teacher, for his 40 years of services, and that giving their respect to their motherland, which would be taken over by some other country in this war. While I was thinking of all this, I heard my name called. It was my turn to recite. And could he recite? No, he could not, because he had never paid attention. And here M. Hamel says that it was not only Franz's mistake, it was M. Hamel's mistake also, because he thought that he's not interested. So he would take him sometimes to fishing with him, and sometimes to do some errand, and to water his plants, and all these things he would send, M. Hamel would send Francis for all these things. I heard now he says, first, but I got mixed up on the first words and stood there holding on to my desk. He was feeling sorry. He got mixed up with the words, and he was feeling so sorry. My heart beating and daring not to look up. I heard M. Hamel say to me, I won't scold you, little Franz. You must feel bad enough. See how it is. Every day we have said to ourselves, bah, I have plenty of time. I'll learn it tomorrow. I have plenty of time and I'll learn it tomorrow. But does that tomorrow come? No, that tomorrow never comes. We just keep on pushing our things for tomorrow, and that tomorrow never comes. And finally what happens? One day we lose everything. Now he says, and now you see where we've come out. They're the great trouble with Alsace. So Alsace, the place, she puts off learning till tomorrow. So he says it's not the problem with you, little Franz. It's the problem with the whole population of Alsace. They don't want to learn anything. They don't want to remember anything. They always say we'll do the learning tomorrow, and the tomorrow never comes. Now those fellows out there, the Prussians, the Germans out there, will have the right to say to you, how is it you pretend to be Frenchmen? Now they will ask you that you are pretending to be Frenchmen. How is it that you're pretending? You're not able to speak French. You're not able to write properly, proper line of French. Then how are you all Frenchmen? And yet you can neither speak or write your own language. How sad. You cannot even speak your own language. Now here, That is why I told that today I may be explaining you few lines in Hindi too, because I want to assert the importance of mother tongue. Though I always say that English is important, in all my classes I have been saying that English is important, but in this last lesson I just wanted to say that no, our mother tongue is Hindi and we should know Hindi also. We should write proper Hindi and we should know how to speak proper Hindi also. Just like M. Hamel is chiding them, CHIDING, scolding them of not knowing French properly. But you are not the worst, poor little Franz. We have all great due to reproach ourselves. But he says you are not the worst learner. We all have to reproach, scold ourselves. Your parents were not anxious enough to have you learn. Parents, they said that they were not anxious that you should study. They preferred to put you to work on a farm because that would fetch more money, or at the mills, so as to have a little more money, or so they wanted to send you to the farm or to the mills so that you can earn some money. And I have been to blame myself also. Have I not often sent you to water my flowers? So he's saying, I am also to be blamed because I saw that you are not studying, so send this child to water my plants instead of learning your lessons. And when I wanted to go fishing, did I not just give you a holiday? And he said that whenever I wanted to go to fishing, did I not take you all, did I not give you all a holiday? Because I wanted to go for fishing, so I gave you all a holiday. So it is my mistake also. It is not only your mistake. Then from one thing to another, M. Hamel went on to talk of the French language, saying that it was the most beautiful language of the world, the clearest and the most logical. Please underline, student, what M. Hamel says, that the French is the most beautiful, the clearest and the most logical, that we must guard it amongst and never forget it. So he says that now you have to protect this language, guard it and never forget, because one day we will gain our independence back. We'll gain our independence back, and that day should not be that day when you will forget your language. So you should know your language, because when a people are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. Please underline this line. So here M. Hamel says, if a person is enslaved, because from tomorrow Prussia was going to overtake Alsace and Lorraine, and he says that if we are enslaved, but if we hold fast onto our language, it is that we have a key to our prison. That means any time we may come, and any time we may gain back our territory, because we are united as people, because we know our language and we are united. So we have the key to our prison if we know our own language, because our own language is our mother tongue, is our identity. Then he opened a grammar and read us our lesson. I was amazed to see how well I understood it. So that day he was amazed to see how well he understood the lesson. He was like, 1 second children, 1 second students, let me reach on my tab. So he was amazed to see how well he understood. So it is like, when you want to understand anything, you can understand. And that day he could understand everything, whatever M. Hamel spoke. Actually, then he says, French was never so hard language, tough language. It was he who was not paying attention. And that is why all the problems. I had never listened so carefully, and that he had never explained everything with so much patience. The student had never listened so carefully, and the teacher had also not explained with so much patience. As teachers, we also sometimes lose our patience, because when a child is asking the same thing and again, we fail somewhere, and we like suddenly shout, why are you asking again and again? But a successful teacher is that teacher who is able to explain that thing again and again, explain the problems, give the solution to the problem of the children. Everything is so much patient. It seemed almost as if the poor man wanted to give us all he knew. So that day it seemed that M. Hamel wanted to give whatever he knew he wanted to give us before going away, and to put it all into our heads at one stroke. So at one stroke he wanted to give everything, wanted to put everything in their brain, whatever he could. After the grammar, we had a lesson in writing. So, and that day M. Hamel had new copies for us, written in a beautiful round round hand, cursive handwriting. He had brought new copies for everybody, and and it looked like little flags and very beautiful in cursive handwriting. He had written there France, Alsace, France, Alsace. They looked like little flags floating everywhere, and they looked like little flag. So they could see their independence in France, Alsace, because from tomorrow Prussian army was going to take over, and Berlin would be going to, or the order from the Berlin had come that they would be taught German language and not French language anymore. Let us see what happens next. They look like little, so they look like little flags floating everywhere in the schoolroom, hung from the rod at the top of the desk. You ought to have seen how everyone set to work. So you should see how each and every one of us and everyone present there was so concentrated, so serious, and so devoted in studying. The only sound was of the scratching of the pens over the paper. Scratching sound, as if somebody is making a sound of screech over only the pen and the paper. There was pin drop silence, no noise whatsoever. Once some beetles flew in. Beetles, like dragonfly, those beetles flew in. But nobody paid any attention. If some other day, all the children would have gone and tried to catch, and M. Hamel would be rapping his table. What are you all doing? What are you all doing? But that day, nobody paid attention to them. Not even the littlest one, not even the smallest one ran after the beetles, the flies, who worked right on tracing their fish hooks as if that was French too. So these small ones were tracing some fishes on the paper, and as if that was also language. They were so concentrated. On the roof, the pigeons cooed very low. The pigeons, they just sang very lowly. The language of pigeons, cooing. They cooed very lowly, and I thought to myself, will they make them sing in German, even the pigeons? So what did Franz think? Will they make them sing in German, even the pigeons? What does it mean here? It means that, can they make the pigeons also sing in German? No. Why? It has a deeper meaning. You can enslave a person. You can enslave a person physically. You can physically enslave a person and put him to jail, but you cannot capture him mentally. So mentally, all these French people would be with France only. They would be a French man only. They would be a French person only. And they would be dedicated and devoted to their own country. However, they would be taught German. The order from the Berlin had come. However, they would be enslaved because Prussia would be ruling. But they would not be able to control their minds. This is what it means. Please underline, student. Just like that. Only the desks and the benches had been worn smooth, because 40 years of teaching, 40 years of services, and the desk and the benches, when you go on sitting on the same desk and the benches, it becomes very smooth, it becomes very shining. The walnut trees Uh, Before that, actually, we have missed a few lines. Whenever I looked up from my writing, I saw M. Hamill sitting motionless in his chair and gazing first at one thing, then at another, as if he wanted to fix in his mind just how everything looked in that little schoolroom. So 40 years of services he had given. So whenever he looked up, he saw Mr. M. Hamill looking from one place to another, as if he is trying to fix up everything in his memory. Why? Because next day even he had to leave and he had to go away from there. So he was trying to capture everything in through his eyes in his memory. He was capturing actually. One thing, then it another. If he wanted to fix in his mind just how everything looked in that little schoolroom, fancy, for 40 years he had been there in the same place with his garden outside the window and his class in front of him. Just like that, only the desk and benches had worn smooth. As I explained to you earlier, I had jumped to this line, so that in this 40 years, what had only changed? Because the desk and the benches which had gone smooth. The walnut trees was there in the garden were taller. They had grown taller. The hop vine that he planted himself twined around the windows to the roof. Twined means encircled. राउंड एंड राउंड जाकर लिपटे हुए थे हॉप वाइन्स. इट हैड एनसर्कल्ड and twisted, twined about the windows of how it must have broken his heart to leave it all, poor man. So for 40 long years he had given his services to the school, and how it must be breaking his heart. This little Franz thought this, to hear his sister moving about in the room above, packing their trunks, and that his sister was upstairs moving about the trunks, big boxes, pulling here and there, and it would really tear his heart. He is just imagining how his heart must be getting torn by hearing the noise that after 40 long years of his devotion, dedicated services, he had to leave that place just because France had lost the battle against Prussia and Germany. It was so funny to hear. So he's just thinking that how sad Mr. M. Hamill might be feeling. So I hope so. Till now you must have understood everything, and if you have any problem, as I have told you, please mail me at rashmi.singh02110211@gmail.com. The walnut trees about which I was speaking to you right now, he had planted himself. So that is why Franz was thinking that this might be breaking his heart so much. But he had the courage to hear every lesson to the very last. So he had the courage to hear every lesson to the very last. After the writing, we had a lesson in history, and then the babies of the room, they also spoke something. And old Hauser had put on his spectacles and holding his primer in both hands, spelled his voice trembled with emotions. And M. Hamill, babies were also chanting, they were also reading. And M. Hamill, which had with his three-cornered hat, remember, and his primer spread across his knees with his spectacles there. So he was spelling so loudly, and it was like he just imagined whether he is crying or he's laughing. He felt like laughing also, the way M. Hamill was like listening, and the way this Hauser was pronouncing all the lesson. He wanted to, he did not know what to do, whether he should laugh or whether he should cry. It was so funny because his voice was trembling, and it was choked with emotion. How well I remember it, the last lesson. All at once, the church clock struck 12. then the Angelus. So the church clock struck 12. So it was the time to go. The class was over. And at the same moment, the trumpets of the Prussian. And the same moment, 12, and the trumpet of the Prussians, that is bugle, the Prussians blew the bugle and the trumpets that they are coming inside and they are coming to take over Alsace and Lorraine territory of France. It was heart-wrenching. It was very, a state of where everybody, all the people were emotional, were choked with emotions, but they could not do anything. At the same, returning to resounded our windows, M. Hamel stood up very pale in his chair. I never saw him look so tall. So M. Hamel stood and he looked very tall. He was all pale without color because he knew that he had to leave, and he knew that France, which is such a beautiful country, is now going under the control. Alsace and Lorraine have been won over and now going under the control of Prussia and the Prussian army. My friend, said he, I, and something choked him. There was something in his throat. He could not speak. So much of emotion, so much of tears, so much of, feeling. He was overwhelmed. 40 years of long services. Then he turned to the blackboard, took a piece of chalk, and bearing on with all his might, all his strength, his physical and his emotional strength, because he had to go, he wrote as large as he could, Viva la France, Viva la France, long live France. Then he stopped and leaned his head against the wall, and without a word he made a gesture to us with his hand. School is dismissed, you may go. Viva la France, long live France. And then last thing which he wrote in French was Viva la France. Viva la France, long live France, goodbye France. And he says, school is dismissed, you may go. So this was the last lesson, and this teaches us that we must always be connected to our language. Alright, students, so you must know your own language, Sanskrit also, because Hindi also, because when you go to some other country and when you don't know how to write proper English, proper Hindi, and this is what the irony of today's children, today's student is. They don't know English properly, and when asked to write certain things in Hindi, you people, sorry to say, but somewhere you people are not able to write good English also, good Hindi also, and read also properly, because that also you are ashamed, because writing and speaking Hindi also these days are not considered good. I myself have told you, to enhance your personality you should know English. That is necessary because all the major books are written in English. But then this is also necessary that you should be connected to your own language, because language is your identity, children, and without that you stand nowhere. We stand nowhere. So here with this we complete this lesson, the last lesson, which tells us the importance of the language, and all the question answers, all the important question answers will be given to you as notes just before your exams. I will be informing you here on this channel itself, and will be sending you as newsletters. That would be an online newsletters which would be reaching to you, those who register yourself with this channel. Thank you so much. Hope you have understood. If you have not understood, mail me at rashmi.singh02110211@gmail.com. Thank you so much. Have a nice day ahead.